Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today for my tutorial on how to make a fondant airplane. So I'm going to need a couple things before we get started on this project. We're going to need fondant. I went ahead and colored a ball of blue fondant here, pre-mixed it with the neon bright blue, and then you're going to need a smaller ball of either white or a different color fondant. You're also going to need a little bit of powdered sugar just so your hands don't get too sticky, a pizza cutter just so that you can trim up the fondant, as well as a small tiny little rolling pin. You can use a big one, but you don't have to have a big one for this project. You might also need like a little cup of water or a little spray ball of water in case you're having some trouble getting the fondant to stick to itself. The first step in our awesome little plane here is we're going to be making the base of the plane, or I guess I don't know if the word's cockpit, but the main cabin of the plane is a good way to put it. So we want to make sure that the fondant is smooth and doesn't have any kind of cracks or seams like that in it if possible. I'm going to kind of roll it a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to roll it on the cardboard. There we go. Going to kind of roll it, just get a good feel for it so we can get it all smooth. On this one here too, we're going to kind of just start manipulating with our fingers. This one's going to be kind of just more working it out on our own. We aren't going to need the rolling pin or anything for this one. So we're going to want the front part of the plane to kind of come at a point just like on a regular airplane. So kind of keep making that work there. And then we're going to want the bottom of the plane to be kind of almost like a pencil shape at first. There we go. Now I like to have the front part a little bit wider here, and then the back part of it to be a little bit narrower to kind of accommodate the tail and everything. Doesn't have to be much, but just a little bit. Okay. Okay. There we go. And then just kind of keep smoothing it so it looks just right. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. So we got that. There we go. Okay, so we got our base going right now. So we're going to put this kind of to the side, and then we're going to start working on the wings. So we're going to work on the front wings first. Same thing, smooth our fondant here in a ball. And if it's getting a little sticky, just put some powdered sugar on it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of roll it like so, and then we're going to roll it out just a little bit with the rolling pin. Not too much, because we're going to work a lot with this with our fingers, just kind of like we did with the other one. There we go. There we go. I like I said, to pre-color it, but blue, red, any colors are going to look good with this airplane. And once it's assembled, it's going to look really cool, and you can see how simple it is, just a couple steps. Okay, so we got the wings. Go ahead and take the cookie cutter here, just slice it right in half, and we're going to bring it up here to our airplane. Perfect. It should stick on your airplane on its own, but if not, just take a little bit of water to adhere to it. Perfect. Now the nice part about this plane is it's going to take a couple days to harden, but once you get it where it's hardened more so, then you can paint it. You can kind of even put it angled on your cake. I did some a couple weeks ago. I did it on some buttercream, and I did it. I went ahead and did it. Sorry, I didn't mix that color of the way. And I went ahead and put them on buttercream clouds and made it look like it was flying. So it's pretty cool. So we're going to move this airplane out of the way again, and we're going to work on the back wings here. So let's move him over there. So we're going to do the same thing as before, just kind of flatten it out. There we go. Just a little bit more. There we go. And since these are the back tail wings here, you're going to want them to be a little smaller. You don't need them as big. Perfect. There we go. And we're going to just place those right here on the back of the airplane here. Once you get them on, there's a perfect time to kind of go ahead and assemble them, make sure everything is smooth on it, looks good, everything is pretty even on it. There we go. Perfect. Now, before I do the propellers, I'm going to show you a little trick of what I do. I'm going to take my thumb right here, and I'm going to push it right here into the cockpit. There it is. And I'm going to do it on both sides with my thumb, and then that way it gives it like a little indentation. If you have like a little figurine, you can always stick it in there or just leave it like so. It kind of gives it a cool, little more airplane-like shape. Now we're going to take the white fondant, and I'm going to roll it all the way out to like a snake. Really thin. Keep going as much as you can on this because it's going to be going right here on the front of the plane, so you don't need a ton of fondant for it, just a little piece. So right there's a good amount. Just take your little pizza cutter, section it off, get rid of the excess for now. We had way more fondant than we needed as usual. Okay, so then what we'll do on this particular one is we're going to cut it into 2 pieces right here. There we go, there's one. And then here will be my second one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're gonna just flatten it with our finger. Just a little bit. There we go. And on this particular one, you really don't need that big of a piece, like I said. So we'll do the same thing here, just flatten it. Just kind of keep eyeballing it. It's kind of hard, I know, to see the white on the top of the white cardboard. And we're just gonna place it on top of it. Like so. There we go. We're going to trim it up too because it's a pretty big propeller. So definitely want to trim it up here. Make sure that it's not going to be too gigantic on your airplane. Okay. This is where the water will come in handy. I'm going to just spray the nose of the plane here. And then we're going to go ahead and place it like so on the airplane. So hopefully you can kind of see it. I'm just going to tilt him up a little bit just so you can see him. And like I said, we're going to want this airplane to harden for about 3 or 4 days if you can. If not, at least 2, just if you're going to paint them or you want to suspend them in air. If you're laying them on the cake flat, you can do it the same day. It's no big deal. Also, if you've got any powdered sugar, just get a little brush like so, a paint brush. I use these just for cakes, and just dust them off, and that way he'll be all good to go once you place him on the cake. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and happy cake decorating.